Does the soy sauce in your pantry just taste salty? What if I told you there's soy sauce out there as nuanced as a fine wine? Check out Heydo, a single origin soy sauce brand based out of Brooklyn and Taipei at heydo.co. That's HEYDOH.co. And use code Heydo and eat for 10% off your order.
Now, do the young hip people go on dates to these bars? Like, who's at them?
Oh, you've asked the right person. let's ask the 52-year-old white guy.
Hi, welcome to Shut Up and Eat, the podcast about food, restaurants, chefs, cooking, and everything else we're obsessed with. I'm Cathy.
And I'm Matt Gross.
We're both New Yorkers who love to cook, eat, travel, and write.
This week, we're talking about my recent trip to Taiwan, a country I've been visiting and eating my way through for nearly 30 years.
Be sure to subscribe to this podcast and sign up for our weekly newsletter, an essential part of this Shut Up and Eat experience.
Okay, now let's talk about Taiwan.
You know, my love is sweet.
So, what time is it over there, Matt?
Here in Taipei, Taiwan, it is 9:13 p.m. I believe 12 hours ahead of where you are.
Exactly 12 hours. Yep.
Yeah.
It's nice.
It's finally cool enough to spend time outside.
Oh, okay. So it's been pretty real in terms of heat and humidity.
Taipei summer is a pretty rough time. It is pretty much 93 and incredibly humid every single day. Mm-hmm. And at night, it gets down to a breezy 82. So it's kind of rough. But that's what night markets are for. I just came from one. Mm-hmm. When it's finally cool enough to go out and eat.
Which one did you go to just now?
I just went to the Ningxia night market. It is almost entirely food. It's not. Some of the night markets are devoted to little toys and tchotchkes and cheap clothing, and others have a whole lot more food. So the night markets of Taipei, this one is lots and lots and lots and lots of little food stalls serving yummy snacks.
Nice.
Yeah, it's great.
All right. I'm so curious. It's been over a decade since I've been to Taiwan for various reasons, which we don't have to get into. But what are like the newest night market foods? Like, what are these like newfangled trends that I have totally missed?
So, all right. So this is my first trip back to Taiwan in 7 years. Mm-hmm. I've been coming here to visit and eat and hang out since 1997. My wife is from here, so we always come back and visit family. And so I've spent a lot of time in the night markets here. And I gotta say, the night market I went to tonight is almost exactly like the night markets that I went to, 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago.
Okay.
It did not feel significantly different. So night markets are going to have certain staples, I think.
Right.
Certain snacks that you're always going to see. So there are sweet potato balls, little balls of sweet potato, deep fried in oil, different colors. There's fried chicken, Taiwanese fried chicken, often called
Yang yeah.
Which is dusted with salt and pepper and chili powder and some other things. There's different grilled meats on skewers. There is lu rou fan and various stewed pork products on rice. There's sushi. There's, lots of snacks, different sausages. Look, this is everybody in every country can agree that when you go to an outdoor street food festival, there should be lots of sausages. So there's lots of sausages.
Yeah. Nice. The little ones with the whole garlic cloves, right?
Yeah, and the
little
ones,
sausages. Yeah,
the big little sausage and the big sausage is the other thing. The one sausage inside another sausage.
Oh, sticky rice sausage split in half with a real sausage stuffed in it.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
There's scallion pancakes, which you can get with egg inside or cheese or all kinds of other things. And part of the fun of going to the night market is just getting one thing from one stall and one thing from another stall and slowly sort of assembling a meal until you kind of feel full.
It's amazing how much people eat too. I just gotta say, your like stomach expands while you're there.
Constant snacking.
I imagine it's akin to like just a competitive eater where you just work on like expanding that stomach, and over time you can fit lots more in it.
I've been here for 2 weeks now, and it has just been nonstop eating every day. And it's really frustrating because there's always so many more things I want to eat.
Yeah.
So many more places I want to go.
Exactly.
I want to stay out till midnight trying everything, and yet I can't do it because I only have so much stomach space. So I do need to say there was one thing at the night market that I had not seen before.
Cool.
And there was a very long line for it. They called it, in English, burst and crispy squid, which is not, doesn't really give you much of a hint of what it is. Okay. And so it's a large squid, a whole squid, stuffed with cucumbers.
What? And
then very lightly coated, battered, dredged, and then deep fried, and then sliced up. So you're getting essentially, the heat and the oil is really going to cook the outside part, the squid, and the cucumbers might get warm, but are generally going to stay crispy inside, and so you get this.
So these are minced, chopped cucumbers, or did they just stuff a whole cucumber
essentially
into the body of the squid?
Yeah, more or less. I mean, they cut the cucumber so it's quartered, lengthwise, so it's not just huge chunks. But other than that, they just stick a whole cucumber into the squid and then seal up its end and dredge it and fry it. It's, you've seen all those social media videos that say sometimes you need to eat a whole cucumber. And I guess that applies to squid as well.
Wow. Did you try it?
I didn't. The line was too long. I was looking at the line, and it was like, there's like 40 people in line for this thing.
I'm so curious because on paper, it doesn't I don't know I don't know what to think about that. I'm like, it's two things I like. In theory, I don't know if I would like it fried together.
One of them, I'm not sure. I like deep fried. I wish I'd gotten there a little bit earlier. I wish I could have skipped the line, but it was just...
That's wild. What is the burst? What's burst about it?
I don't know. Maybe it's because it looks swollen. I mean, when you see... I'll show you the videos that I shot later, and hopefully we'll do a social video on this.
The squid just looks really sick. Swollen. It has a tumor in it.
Of course. This is like a mercy killing of squid.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
But it looks really cool, and I mean, this is the thing, is like there's lots of trends in Taiwan, and Taiwan itself is a very trendy food place right now.
Right.
But when I see a line, I think, wait a minute, there's so much good food everywhere here. Right? Every block of Taipei has somewhere to eat. If not like 17 different places to eat on a single block. And so when I see a line, I'm tempted. Yeah, I want to know what they're eating, but I also know that, 13 steps away is some other amazing dish that I could be eating right there. I want to eat like a normal person, not like a crazy person.
I mean, but that's the same phenomenon in New York City, right? You see lines for the latest, greatest froyo place. There was a great New York magazine story about this a few weeks ago that had the photos of people standing in line. And, it's like, what's so great about this? Well, it's the latest TikTok trend, yada, yada. My friends are going there. I just want to take a picture of it, all the usual stuff. And I'm like, Taiwan has kind of been like that for a long time. There's always been before we called foods viral, there have been fad foods that people are willing to wait online for, no matter how many other great foods are steps away. And it's an interesting phenomenon. I think that New York is now experiencing on another level that Taiwan has been at.
It seems I can see the similarities, but they feel a little, I don't know, they feel different. Like my first experience with deep line culture was in Tokyo back in, I think, 2010. I was doing a story about ramen there. This is back before ramen was everywhere. So Tokyo was the place to get really cool ramen. And part of the ramen culture was standing in line. A lot of these ramen shops had, 5, 6, maybe 8 seats. And so,
Yeah.
if you wanted to eat there, you're going to have to stand in line and wait. And that was part of it. But it really seemed to only apply to ramen shops. I didn't see anyone standing in line for sushi. I didn't see anyone standing in line for okonomiyaki or anything like that. It was just like the ramen nerds, the people who were super, super into it were going to be standing in line for that. And that, to me, that makes a little more sense, right? Like when it's a specific part of a specific food subculture, then the line makes sense. Whereas broad line culture just seems, I don't know. I have a hard time with that.
I think it's like you've reached peak line culture when it's not during like a mealtime, right? So was that ramen line taking place during lunch or dinner, or was it any time of the day?
I mean, a lot of the ramen shops are only open for a pretty limited number of hours too.
Yeah.
Right? They make enough for it to serve, 50 bowls or something like that. And when they're done, they're done. So they open maybe 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning, and they're by 2 o'clock, they're out of food.
Oh,
so
okay. So it's kind of lunch. Yeah.
So it's lunchtime. I mean, they're not doing 2 p.m. to 4:30.
Right.
Crazy stuff like that.
Yeah.
Hey, listeners, we've got so much more to say about Taiwan that we went ahead and put it on our website. There's even a Google map of our favorite places to eat there. To see it all, go to shutupandeat.com/Taiwan.
And it's interesting because Taiwan, a lot of these people are eating well into the night, right? They're called night markets. And so much of the food culture, it takes place at night, after quote unquote dinner, time would usually take place. But also all sorts of times during the day too. It's
you never don't see people eating
everywhere. Yeah.
There's just down every alley, around every corner, in every basement. You go up to the 3rd or 4th floor of some anonymous looking office building, and there's half a dozen restaurants there. It's just everywhere. I remember on a trip here, probably in like 2009 or something, I went with my wife's aunt to some fabric market. I don't know, we're walking around some fabric market, and it's like going through the stalls there, and it's like, okay, here's the silk stall, here's the canvas stall, here's another silk stall, here's a dumpling stall, here's more silk, here's more canvas. And it's just like the food was just woven into this place where you wouldn't even expect it to be there. You think like, okay, maybe this will be like the one spot where we're exempt from another temptation to stuff our bellies. But no, it's there. It's everywhere. And, it just changes how you eat. And it feels different from New York. New York has lots of places to eat, but it doesn't have quite as many sort of ad hoc, tiny little spots where you could just pop in for 10 minutes and get a bowl of noodles. And you have that here. So a lot of what you eat, I'm really trying to, as I said, trying to explore what eating like a normal person in Taipei is like. Rather than as a tourist or as a food journalist, trying to just go to the places that are around me, that are near the other places I'm trying to go, that are interesting, that feel like what I would love my normal diet here to be. And it makes it easy because there's just so many options. You're going from here to there, and notice something on your Google Map route that's like, oh, there's a place here that has a high rating and 10,000 reviews. Maybe it's worth checking out. And you pop in, and it's great. And maybe there's a line, maybe there's no line, but like it makes it easy. The ease of the access to new and surprising and delicious foods here is pretty unparalleled.
It's pretty wild. And I'm intrigued by what you said about how a lot of the stalls have remained more or less like the same, or like at least the same offerings that you recall from 7 years ago, from 10 years, from 20 years ago, right? Who are these vendors? Did you see like a younger generation? Did you observe that like some of these vendors were younger or older, or how are they passing along these foods, these stalls and these traditions?
It's a little hard to tell for some of them, partly because if you've had a stall or a food business that's been around for decades, you're probably having employees man it, even if it's a small place, if you've managed to survive 50 years. So For instance, this afternoon, I took my daughters out to the shaved ice place across the street. Shaved ice is, one of Taiwan's greatest desserts. You take a big block of ice and you shave it into little bits, and then you top it with delicious things.
Everything.
Yeah, everything. But probably the most famous thing in Taiwan nowadays is mango shaved ice. So
Ooh, yes.
often the ice itself will be mango flavored, and it will then be covered in chunks of incredibly ripe mango and a big scoop of mango ice cream, and then some mango syrup, maybe some condensed milk.
Maybe some sweetened condensed milk, yeah.
Sweetened condensed milk, and then maybe I think there's some other mango thing that you can add on there. Maybe a mango flan would be like the last thing that you could add in there. So that's like, that stuff is great. It's amazing. That's like the trend. I have like an enamel pin that has mango shaved ice on it, but that's not what I went to the place across the street for. I went to the place across the street, which opened, I think, in 1960, 61, maybe even in the late 50s, for their old school shaved ice. So they have a slightly thicker cut of ice. Some ice, most super modern shaved ice places do what's called snowflake ice, which is very, very fine and gentle. This is a little thicker and crunchier, which has its own appeal.
I kind of like that, yeah.
I do too. So the specialty at this place across the street is shaved ice with half boiled peanuts and half creamed corn. It's like out of the can, Green Giant cream corn.
Yeah.
And it's so good. It's great. It's sweet, and the gloppiness is tempered by the melting ice, and it's absolutely wonderful. Like, this is a great thing, and this is a shop that's been around for 60 plus years. And in fact, they have a sign on the wall that's explaining how they've actually evolved. Right. So they talk about what they were doing in the 60s. They talk about adding this corn ice in the 70s. And actually in the last, 5 or 10 years, they've added mango ice as well, because they want to keep up with the times and keep up with the trends. And yet this is, an old family business going back several decades. Just an
old family business.
And the people working there, I think, were just their employees. It wasn't like, the grandkids manning the station. But it's just a small little spot that, is both proud of its age and also proud of its ability to change with the times and keep serving delicious desserts to new generations of people looking for both the new current flavors and the old school ones. So, it's wonderful. I love that is
That's
literally
really cool.
across the street from my house right now.
That's really cool. And I love that there's still a healthy audience for sort of like the more dated, varieties. I mean, cream corn, that's such a signifier of like the mid-century, and, Green Giant, I believe, entered Taiwan and did a lot of marketing such that, cream of corn and chicken soup is such a staple for a lot of Taiwanese moms. I remember when we were working on the Winsun cookbook, Josh Koo, one of the owners of Winsun restaurant here in Brooklyn, he really wanted to include his mom's recipe for chicken and, cream of corn soup. So that was an egg drop, I should say. So that was one of the recipes we included there. It's just like a nostalgic thing for a lot of Taiwanese Americans.
Heido's So Good You Can Sip It sauce is made with whole black soybeans from Taiwan, which have more antioxidants and umami. Check out Heido, a single-origin soy sauce brand based out of Brooklyn and Taipei at HEYDOH.co. And use the code HEYDONEAT, that's HEYDOHNEAT, for 10% off. This offer is only for Shut Up and Eat listeners and expires on September 1st.
Okay, so it sounds like the last time you were there, that was pre-pandemic, right? 7 years ago?
Yeah,
so
2019.
2019? Okay. What has changed since pandemic, if anything, that you could tell?
I think Taiwan has gotten a lot more international. The food stuff that I see here, the changes, the novelties, the innovations seem to be a lot more international, dishes, chains, items, cuisines that are just moving in here. I think that's partly because
So like
anything
pizza.
from there's good pizza here now, which is not something you used to be able to say about Taiwan. There is a cafe around the corner that serves mostly like cafe food, but they also serve Korean budae-jjigae, this sort of army stew with spam and sausages and kimchi and stuff.
Ooh, nice.
There's a lot of donuts. There's a lot of Korean food. There are a lot of signs. There's always been signs in Chinese and English. You see a lot more signs in Taiwanese, which is one of the main dialects of Chinese that's spoken here by an enormous part of the population. You see a lot of signs in Thai, Indonesian, and Vietnamese, and Tagalog, because there's a lot of tourists from the rest of Asia who come here. And so there are places that are that are catering to new kinds of tourists. So a lot of these old school places, there was a fried chicken place that we went to yesterday or the day before. Again, one of these places has been around since the 60s. And they have all their menus in, Chinese, English, Japanese, Korean, Thai, Indonesian, Vietnamese, just making it easy for everybody to access what they're selling. And that kind of internationalization of what Taiwan is, who it attracts, and how you can eat here, that seems to me to be like the biggest kind of change that I've seen. That like these connections from Taiwan to the outside world and from the rest of the world to Taiwan seem more visible and tighter than they were a while back.
Got it.
In terms of what I've been eating, it sort of has posed kind of a problem because I don't know. I haven't been in Taiwan in a while. I want to be eating Taiwanese food, sort of very Taiwan specific food. And especially when I was checking out like fine dining restaurants here, most of the fine dining restaurants are the same ones, or the Taiwanese fine dining restaurants are the same ones that I wrote about for Travel and Leisure back in like 2018. Mume and Terroir and Impromptu that are doing very sort of Taiwanese focused food at a very high level and fancy. Whereas since then, it seems like a lot of the fine dining places that have opened up since the pandemic seem to be French, Italian, Argentinian,
just straight
sort
up
of
French,
or just sort of international style that kind of like.
But it's just plunked in the middle of Taiwan.
Yeah, and it's great. I mean, people here want to eat that. That's great. That's wonderful that they have access to that. I mean, we have that in New York, right? Like it's not all just New York food. We want to eat food from everywhere, and as is our human right to eat whatever we want, wherever we want, whenever we want. But to me, here I haven't been here in a while. It's like I don't necessarily want to jump right into that.
Yeah.
But there was one that I did go to that piqued my interest called Nomada. And so this is a restaurant by a guy named Nick Tsai, who was born in Taiwan but grew up in Chile and wound up cooking sort of all over Latin America. So he's got these influences from Peru and Mexico and just sort of all over the place from his career. And he came back and he opened this place that is both Taiwanese and Latin American. It's a very cool interior, good cocktails, very chill and, contemporary feeling. And the food really does kind of straddle, these multiple cultures pretty decently, right? It doesn't feel forced.
Amazing.
Yeah. So the real cool thing there was this, what is it called? They call it on the menu, the anticucho guabao. So guabao is...
Oh.
Do you want to define guabao for us?
Yeah. So it's that steam bun, sandwich style steam bun with a slab of pork belly that's been braised forever and it's just falling apart. And it's topped with a little bit of pickled mustard greens, some crushed peanuts, and cilantro.
Yep. So in this case, it's classic. I love it. It's I had one of my first days in Taiwan, but at Nomada they're doing essentially a kind of taco al pastor on a guabao bun.
Ooh.
So
I
think it was not quite taco al pastor. It was beef instead of pork, but it had that sort of similar spice mix. and it had little chunks of pineapple, which is a very
Pineapple,
Taiwanese thing,
yum.
super Taiwanese
That
thing.
makes perfect
and
sense.
had really good creamy guacamole on it and
Ooh.
pickled onions, and it was like,
Wow.
this thing works. Like this thing works
Okay.
as a marriage
Sold.
of Taiwan and Latin America. So
Right.
it's great to see that.
Because, I mean, if you're going to be in Taiwan, you're dealing with the local produce and terroir and, all that, great. And Taiwan is no slacker when it comes to local produce. I got to say, the
it's so
best
good.
fruit in the world. You would be stupid to import anything.
Oh my God.
Fruit-wise.
The best mangoes I've ever had in my life are here.
The best.
Absolutely. There's these ones, the big red ones are the ones I like. They when they get really ripe, they have an almost kind of coconutty aspect to them. Just this rich,
Rich.
tropical seaside undercurrent in them. It's so good.
To me, I remember I had an epiphany eating a honeydew melon because in the States we get these insipid pale things that have no flavor, right? Like from your regular fruit salad from Whole Foods or something. But in Taiwan, honeydew melon was like on steroids for flavor. It tasted like, I can't even describe it. Just like honeydew times 3,000. And it was so good.
Oh my God,
So
I believe
good.
it. So our fridge here in the family house always has lots of guava, big green crunchy guava, bala as they call it. So we eat a ton of that. Passion fruit has made a lot of inroads in Taiwan over the last 15 years. So just passion fruit everywhere. And on my way back home just now, I stopped to get, do you recognize this one?
Wax apple.
Wax apple.
Red wax apple.
Lian
Yeah.
or in Taiwanese, len mu, which is absolutely one of my favorite. It's just crunchy and light
So
and juicy.
crunchy. Refreshing.
You can hear the crunch?
Uh-huh.
Okay, good. That's my one special sound effect for this episode.
The wax apple sound.
I wish I could
don't
share
know
this
that
with
I
you. It's
could-
so good.
Like, I don't know that I would be able to tell if he didn't tell me it was a wax apple, like apart from anything else. But yeah, sounds like a good one.
This is what eating like a normal person is like in Taiwan, right? You just have fruit all the time. There's fruit everywhere
Spoiled.
all the time.
Yeah.
You have it at home. You have it while you're out. It's everywhere. It tastes great. And it winds up in drinks. I mean, the whole like boba tea thing has evolved here so far beyond the old school milk tea with tapioca balls. It's teas with all kinds of fruit in them and fruit juices.
Yeah.
I had some really good like oolong tea with grapefruit the other day. Just like such a good balance of those things. And it winds up in the cocktails too. So we've had some pretty good cocktails here as well. Just excellent mixes of,
And would this be mostly in the fine dining space, these cocktails?
No. So this is one of the big changes, at least that to me, one of the things I've noticed over the last, 10, 15 years is there didn't used to be a lot of bars in Taipei. I mean, there were always some, but there just weren't like a lot. And the neighborhood we live in is called Ximending, which is very much like a youth-focused shopping, nightlife area. But there weren't like bars there. There were lots of cafes and little claw machine arcades and things like that. But now there's a ton of bars and there's a lot of cocktail bars. There's good beer and there's good cocktails of all different kinds. And they're pretty inventive. There was one I went to the other night called Geography Bar, which focuses on really representing all the different ingredients of Taiwan, from teas to fruits to alcohols to spices and things like that. All really well mixed. There's a sort of dangerously addictive mango passion fruit cocktail that I had. I only had one of them because I could have probably had about 8 of them because the fruit is so good. But you wind up with, tea and all kinds of other things in these. Tonight I went to another bar called City North, which is very sort of quiet Japanese dark wood style place
Cool.
with, again, great classic cocktails, great newfangled cocktails.
Wow.
And they really like using tea and all these other things.
I definitely don't remember this scene.
Yeah. So there's a lot more of that, and it's really interesting.
I love the idea of tea. Yeah, using like a lot of like the Taiwanese, which is so famous for teas, really wonderful like teas from the high mountains, arisen, a great oolongs too. So that's really cool. Now, do the young hip people go on dates to these bars? Like, who's at them?
Oh, you've asked the right person. let's ask the
who's going to these
52-year-old
bars?
white guy if the young people in Taipei are going on dates to these. But yeah, most people at this point are younger than me, so I assume the young people are going on dates to these places.
The young hip people are going. Okay.
The geography bar was more mixed. The people I saw there were
Mixed
all
in terms of
ages, men and women, different ages.
Okay.
Right. City North seemed to be a bit more of like a dude's like a older man's good cocktail bar.
A sports bar? No,
not a sports bar. Although actually,
did somebody get up and sing karaoke at some point? Because then
no,
it's really
nobody's
an
sang
old man's
karaoke
bar.
here.
Okay,
you saved that for. Did you? I don't know if the last time you were here they had this. They have little one-person karaoke booths in the subway. So like if you're on your way home from work and you're like, I don't want to go home quite yet. I'm going to go sing a few ballads in this booth in the middle of a busy subway station.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Sure. Why not? If I sang better, maybe I would want to be doing that.
Out. Yeah. After a long day working in the office, just got to belt it out.
Absolutely.
I love like that's so funny. It's like the privacy of it. You're like, I'm going to go to my booth.
Yeah.
Not disturb
There's like two
anyone
booths next to each other.
That's so funny. Yeah. Love it.
There is, I didn't get to this place. It's down in Taichung. I just heard about it. There is a karaoke bar that is serving food by the chef Andre Jiang, who is this like superstar Taiwanese chef who really made his name in Singapore with some really high-end restaurants there. And now he's doing the food for like a really cool karaoke bar down in Taichung. So next trip, maybe I'll get down there.
Okay, cool.
My lovely sweet.
Yeah, I definitely hadn't explored the fine dining scene too much in Taiwan, and it sounds like it's really growing in all sorts of which ways. So
yeah,
cool
there's some great stuff. Mume and terroir and impromptu they're great. It's all about sort of adapting not just Taiwanese ingredients, but Taiwanese flavors and techniques to the format of modern fine dining. And I can't tell you what's on their menus now because they change these things a lot. And, but none of it feels forced. It doesn't feel like the kind of, tweezer cuisine or, molecular gastronomy. It just feels like good food produced at a really high level by excellent chefs out of, these fruits and spices and flavors that you're not getting anywhere else but this island.
Do you think it's similar in vibe to, Kato in LA? Or have you been there?
You tell me. I have not been to Kato yet.
Okay,
I would love.
All right. So, that is, fine dining with a lot of technique that is from, France often. Certainly like the whole idea of like the tasting menu is more European. But the chef Zhang Yao, he really takes a lot of inspiration from classic, Chinese and Taiwanese dishes. So he's a Taiwanese American though. So he's like, a lot of it is filtered through his experience. His parents had a Taiwanese restaurant in LA before. So, it's from his experience with the cuisine. But yeah, I'm just curious how that would differ between these folks who are doing that in Taiwan.
One of the things I do notice about Taiwan, I've always, been aware of this, is Taiwan is always trying to figure out how to represent itself, to represent itself to itself and to visitors and to the outside world. And so being able to use these ingredients and use these dishes as the base for anything carries a special kind of meaning here. I mentioned earlier that I'd seen a lot of a lot more signs written in Taiwanese rather than Mandarin.
Yeah.
And that is increasingly a big deal. Although millions of people here speak Taiwanese, for decades, for 40, 50 years, Taiwanese was a suppressed language. The official language is Mandarin, and the government didn't want anybody speaking, let alone writing restaurant signs in Taiwanese. And so being able to bring that back and put that out there is, feels still like a big deal. It feels like something that people are self-consciously doing to say, this is not just another restaurant serving, stewed pig's foot on rice. This is a specifically Taiwanese restaurant doing it in a Taiwanese mode for Taiwanese people or anybody who happens to pop in.
No, it's fascinating how, it's really an exciting time then, seeing that ownership. And even in the States, I've been seeing increasingly the term lo ba beng instead of lu ro fan, which is the Taiwanese pronunciation and writing of the same dish, which is minced meat over rice. But because this dish is actually more associated with the Taiwanese speaking folks of Taiwan, it only makes sense to translate it as their dialect totally. Rather than the Mandarin, which would be lu ro fan.
Today, I took my daughters on a little hiking trip outside the city, about an hour and a half south of Taipei. And once we were done with the hike and swimming in this waterfall, we went to a little local restaurant, got some just sort of cool local food. They had this tea oil chicken, basically.
Oh, yes.
Cut up chicken, stir fried with a lot of garlic in tea tree oil, just like really rich
oil. Yeah.
Oh my God, so good. And
so nutty.
Served with mianxian, basically like rice noodles, simple rice noodles, and they had really good pickles. They had good pao cai, which is sort of the Chinese Taiwanese version of kimchi, but they also had this thing that I'd never seen or had before, and the woman, I was going to say the xiaojie, the lao ban, the boss at the restaurant, called them rakkyo. And I was like, rakkyo? Like, it sounds like, I don't know, is this a Taiwanese word I haven't heard before? Is this a Hakka word? That's one of the other languages and ethnic groups here. And it turns out these little pickled white crunchy bulbs are actually Japanese. This is another version of scallion where they're traditionally grown, and they cut off the white bulbs and they pickle them in a kind of tart, sweet marinade, and you eat them. It's just so crunchy and light and not very oniony at all, but just really absolutely wonderful and refreshing. And this Japanese name, is just sort of like worked its way into the language here. I guess because the Japanese colonized Taiwan for 50 years, and these Japanese food traditions just became such a part of how people were eating, even way out in this little restaurant in the countryside, that it's something that they've kept doing for,
kept growing,
the 80 years since the end of the Japanese regime here. And the name for this is still a Japanese name, pronounced as comfortably in a Taiwanese context as anything else. And so, like, Taiwanese is so good at integrating all these outside influences.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
We probably should have started this episode by trying to say, what is Taiwanese cuisine, Cathy? How do you define it?
Oh, gosh. This question, man, I get this question so much. No, I mean, it is a unique, beautiful tropical island. It has its huge long history of just its own indigenous peoples, and then its own terroir, its own, it's surrounded by coast, obviously, so there's lots of seafood, but it also has lush mountains. It has such a various climate and terrain. It's a really special place. So it's all shaped by those resources. Yeah. And then you got so much fascinating history there. Obviously, lots of Chinese came over from across the street, which would be Fujian province. A lot of folks can claim their heritage back to there. But then you also got a lot of Hakka folks. I mean, how am I even talking? Like, I'm answering a question about what is Taiwanese cuisine by like just going off on this history lesson. There's no other way to do it.
Well, I mean, to me, in some ways,
I'm not even a quarter of the way through.
Could you say, in some ways, it's got great parallels to American food. It's shaped by successive waves of
what is American
immigration and invasion, and people who came willingly, people who came for work, people who wound up here, and in the case of the United States, it was from countries in Europe and from Africa and from from South America and lots of other places over the years. And from Taiwan, it was, waves of immigration and migration from different parts of China, actually all over China, pretty much, and from Japan.
Definitely.
And the Dutch and the Portuguese had something to say about the food here way back when. And since the end of World War II, you have increasing international influence as well, from the U.S., from Korea, from the Philippines.
Asia.
Mr. Donut
Lots
is
of
a huge business here. It's a particular strain of globalization that's produced.
It doesn't stop. I mean, this story doesn't end, after we say, okay, and then, there's no way to tie it up in a bow. It's just constantly evolving. Yeah.
And it's delicious. Like for whatever reason, I mean, for whatever reason,
right.
I feel like the primary expression of all these waves of immigration and these layers of history is to create good things to eat at all hours of the day.
The question I hate the most, and I get a lot, is how is it different from Chinese food? I'm like, well, it's a different place. That's how it's different. Let me describe to you what it is and where it is exactly. And then I don't know what else. It's just like a different place.
How is British food different from American food?
Exactly.
It's a different place with a different history.
People struggle. I've seen people be like, it's a little sweeter than Chinese food. I'm like, what the hell does that mean? I've heard
which
that.
Chinese
I've seen
food?
it in
It's
print.
sweeter than which Chinese food?
Exactly.
Yeah,
less spicy. I've heard that one. I was like, what?
I mean, without doing the Taiwan Tourist Bureau's job for them, the best way to figure out what Taiwanese food is to come here and just eat everything you see for 2 or 3 weeks, which is what
I'm super jealous because it sounds like that's exactly what you're doing. And thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
Doing the tourist bureau.
When are you going to get back here? How do we get you back here?
I might go this winter or
oh,
spring.
Exciting.
Yeah.
We'll have to do another one of these. I want to hear what you wind up eating.
That's right. I'm going to go to all the fancy places. No, I'm just kidding.
There's a lot of fancy places. You know what you should do is you should use the Google map of all of the Shut Up and Eat recommended Taiwanese places here in Taipei that that our listeners can find by going to shutupandeat.com and checking out where they should eat in Taipei.
I'll do my best.
In Chinatown in New York, what other maps do we have?
We got Chinatown.
We did Montreal.
And we should do maybe where to eat Taiwanese food in and around New York. We could do that.
It's getting crazy. Like my neighborhood in Brooklyn, Din Tai Fung is opening 10 minutes away from my apartment. 10-minute walk from my apartment is going to be Din Tai Fung. And in the meantime, another Taiwanese place called Yuan is Here has just opened. And that's like an 8-minute walk from my apartment. So all of a sudden, I haven't been able to go to Taiwan until now. It's been 7 years. In the meantime, Taiwan is coming to me. Thank you, Taiwan.
I'm so excited to see, how all these places differentiate themselves too. Because it used to be so like, oh yeah, we have Taiwanese food. This is New York City or New Jersey. We've got beef noodle soup and we've got lu rou fan and we've got guabao and maybe some pork, fried pork over rice or pork chop noodle. And then it was kind of like a standard, list of like favorites. But I think that, we're starting to see a lot more. There's a lot more Taiwanese breakfast, certainly. And we'll see.
What's the first thing you want to eat when you come back here?
I want fresh fruit shakes because I just love those. You know, give me watermelon, give me kiwi, give me honeydew, strawberry. I just love seeing all those stands with like the fresh fruit and they just buzz it up in a blender right in front of you with a little water and just like, or milk. You can ask for milk, which is also good. And it's so good. It's so refreshing because it's usually really hot when you get there and you're like thirsty after the trip. And yeah, that's what I want.
I have been eating literally all day long. And now after this conversation, I am hungry again. It's really torturous. Okay, that's it for Shut Up and Eat. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast and check out our newsletter and killer merch at shutupandeat.com. That's shut up and eat, not shut up and eat.
This episode was edited and produced by Matt Herrero at H Industries. Our executive producer is Peter Chang. Graphic design by Matt Timms. And our theme song is Birthday Cake by Chipo Mato.
Okay, till next time, shut up and eat, everybody.
No, you shut up and eat.
No, you shut up and eat.
Okay, thanks. I will.
My lovely sweet.